A very good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And this evening, let us take a look on a very sensitive story from Hopo Chingono. And this is in line with some intelligence which we have received in the past days and past weeks. And it seems as if we have the same common view. Hopo says many people have been asking me why the Zimbabwean tyrant Emerson Mnangagwa swapped Frederick Shava with Amon Morwira, moving Shava from foreign affairs to education. So, on another hand, looking at this whole thing, it looks like a demotion. But Wopo is explaining it in another angle. He says, I didn't know either. But after some investigation, the common thread emerging is that Mnangagwa is preparing for the possibility that if he doesn't secure a third term, he would prefer someone other than his vice president to take over, just as Robert Mugabe was prepared to have someone other than his deputy Mnangagwa succeed him. The idea behind moving Shava from foreign affairs, which requires extensive travel, is so that he can focus on domestic issues in preparation of that potential bid, should Mnangagwa's third term bid fail. Mnangagwa and Shava are the only cabinet ministers from the 1980s still active in politics today and in cabinet. Shava carries the baggage of the Willowvale scandal, but that pales in comparison to the deep corruption in Zimbabwe today. The Willowvale scandal, also known as the Willowgate scandal, was a significant event in Zimbabwe's political history that occurred in the late 1980s. It involved high-ranking government officials, including Frederick Shava, who was a minister, who were implicated in corrupt activities related to the illegal resale of vehicles. That scandal also resulted in several resignations of five members of President Mugabe's cabinet. One of them, Maurice Nyagumbo, then committed suicide. And this is something which is very important. Looking at this statement from Hopo Chingono, yes, chances are there that Mnangagwa might be preparing someone to take over, not for a long term, but for a short term. How? Here is the thinking. Shava can challenge Vice President Chiwenga, and Mnangagwa can influence the outcomes and win, and make Shava win as the next president. Then Shava could pick his vice president as one of Mnangagwa's sons. Then, soon after becoming president, Shava could promote Mnangagwa's son to become one of the top generals, either leading Zimbabwe National Army or up to the top task, depending on what will be the situation that time. So, according to this statement from Hopo Chingono, the reasoning is these are people who have been together for a very long time, probably friends since the 80s. And Mnangagwa is the one who called Shava to come back from America and come and be a minister. So, for him to be very, very close home, what it means is they will be able to play their games together. Right? Like if Shava continues as the foreign affairs minister, what it means is you have more time out of the country, moving around, and no time on the ground to prepare and to work around, which means he might be absent in very critical meetings, very critical places where his presence is required. So if he is brought closer, then they work together, plan together, try by all means possible to make him familiarize with the situation and events, everything. Then, boom, you see him challenging. So when it comes to the issues of seniority, Shava has been a cabinet minister. He was a cabinet minister in the 1980s, which means he was one of the key people who were part of ZANU-PF in the 80s, which means his credibility as a person with credentials to succeed Emerson Mnangagwa can never be doubted within ZANU-PF. So both Chiwenga and Shava, they have the credibility in terms of seniority within the party. Within the party, it seems as if Shava has been senior to General Chiwenga in the past. He has been there for a very long time, which can be argued and debated to say, even though this one is senior in terms of being the vice president, but that one was there during this period and that period. So you can actually see that they can dance around such activities, such statements and things to make sure that they accommodate each other. The biggest issue is that they feel that if General Chiwenga is to take over, he might initiate some prosecutions, which will end up opening deep corruption issues. Not only corruption issues, but disappearance issues, murder issues. Because look at the book which was published by General Bonyongwe. It's a very clear indication of the direction which might be taken by the Chiwenga's government if they get into power, which means they can ask questions as to what happened to General Jumjuru. They can ask questions as to what happened to the COVID, which took or wiped out several generals, and what happened to the sudden deaths of these generals. All these issues might be investigated and might land some people into trouble, either through real evidence or otherwise. So there are fears that if the post is then landed by the general, things might not go well. And, they believe general is a man of his word. Kana akatoti chakati ngatite chinofana kutofamba chakadaro. So, this is one of the very important issues to note at this point in time. And to some extent, we can agree with what Wopo Chingono has raised right here as the succession battles continue within ZANU-PF. So others, the 2030s, at this point in time, it seems as if they've been defeated. But will the other faction be able to build up a team or to assemble a team which is credible enough to push ahead and to push forward? Remember, there is something which happened soon after this government came into power. We saw a team which they tried to assemble, which wanted to expose corruption and corrupt activities. And that led to the firing of people like Wana Godfrey Tsenengamo and demotion of people like Louis Matutu, etc., etc. And that died a natural death. We will see a revival of such activities in recent times. There is a probability that you will see some people resurfacing in between. There are several critical people who have been on the other side who were either maimed or poisoned or arrested or whatever. But those issues are there. Very critical people who could have been appointed ministers or permanent secretaries, but were not. It's because they were not the favorites of Mwene. So this is one of the issues. And the other issue, we'll talk about the other issue on how the dynasty is planning to retain power. Very interesting revelations are coming up. And we will look at that story as it is. It's a very interesting report, which we need to take a look upon maybe today or tomorrow. But this is what is happening. Wopo Chingono claims that the coming back of Shava to work from within Zimbabwe as the Minister of Higher Education is a strategy to prepare him to take over if the third term issue fails. I do not know your thoughts, your views. regarding this whole issue. But to a certain extent, I agree with Hopo Chingono, because this is something which has been extensively discussed within the secret corridors. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. Let us meet in other episodes as well as other broadcasts.